Have you ever felt invisible in a room full of people? What if the pain you hide every day is seen by no one until a single voice changes everything? This is not a loud story. It's a quiet one, about a very poor teenage girl, and the one moment that rewrote the way she saw herself forever. Once upon a time, in a small forgotten town where dreams seemed to stop at the bus station, lived a very poor teenage girl named Elena. She was 17, thin from missed meals, and always dressed in the same faded clothes she washed by hand every night. Elena lived with her grandmother in a leaking one-room house after her parents passed away years earlier. Every morning, she woke before sunrise to help her grandmother, then walked miles to school. She never complained. She never asked for help. Life had taught her early that survival required silence. While other teenagers talked about parties, phones, and future plans, Elena's world revolved around earning a few dollars after school and making sure there was food on the table. She believed this was all life had planned for her. At school, Elena was invisible, not because she was quiet, but because people chose not to see her. Teachers praised louder students. Classmates formed groups without her. When she walked into a room, conversations continued as if she wasn't there. Some students mocked her worn shoes. Others ignored her completely. Bullying didn't always come with words. Sometimes silence hurt more. Elena sat in the back row every day, head down, notebook filled with careful handwriting and unspoken thoughts. She dreamed of becoming a teacher one day, but that dream felt childish. Dreams are for people who can afford to fail, she told herself. So she focused on surviving, and surviving meant being invisible. One afternoon, Elena failed a presentation she had practiced for weeks. Her voice trembled. Laughter spread across the room. The teacher moved on without noticing her tears. That day, something inside her shut down. She stopped raising her hand, stopped hoping, stopped believing effort mattered. After school, she sat alone on a cracked bench behind the building, staring at the ground. She thought, if no one hears me, why speak at all? For the first time, she promised herself she would never try to stand out again. It felt safer to disappear. That's when she heard footsteps approach, slow, steady, and unexpected. If this story is touching your heart, subscribe to English Story Academy for emotional, powerful, and life-changing English stories that help you learn while you feel. It was the school janitor, a middle-aged woman most students ignored. She sat beside Elena and said softly, "You know, the quiet ones usually carry the strongest minds." Elena didn't respond. The woman continued, "I've been watching you. You listen. You think. You don't waste words." Elena finally looked up, surprised. No one had ever said they noticed her. The woman smiled gently and added, "Being ignored doesn't mean you're empty. Sometimes it means people are too loud to hear depth." Then she stood and walked away, leaving Elena frozen in place. The words echoed louder than any insult she'd ever heard. Weeks later, Elena learned the truth. The janitor wasn't just a janitor. She had once been a university professor who lost everything after caring for a sick child. Instead of bitterness, she chose humility. She chose peace. Elena realized something shocking. The woman everyone ignored had once stood where Elena dreamed of standing, and the girl who felt worthless had been seen by the person who understood life the most. That moment shattered Elena's belief that value depended on attention, wealth, or status. Sometimes the most powerful people are the quietest. Elena didn't suddenly become popular. Her life didn't magically improve, but she changed. She began speaking, not loudly but clearly. She helped classmates without expecting thanks. She studied with purpose, not fear. Teachers noticed her consistency. Opportunities followed her calm determination. Slowly, invisibility turned into respect. That single conversation didn't fix her life, but it gave her permission to believe she mattered. And that belief changed how she walked, spoke, and dreamed. Years later, Elena would say that one sentence changed her life, not because it praised her, but because it recognized her. She learned that being ignored by many does not cancel your worth. Sometimes it only takes one person to remind you who you are. And when that happens, the world doesn't need to change first. You do. Moral of the story: being invisible doesn't mean you are unimportant. Sometimes, the right voice at the right moment is enough to awaken your strength. Subscribe to English Story Academy for more emotional English stories that teach language, confidence, and life lessons, one story at a time.